Now, in 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 2, Paul says to us, he says, "For he that speaketh in an unknown tongue speaketh not unto men, but unto God, for no man understandeth him. Howbeit, in the spirit he speaketh what? He speaketh mysteries." So he that speaks in an unknown tongue, Paul already made it clear that he is not talking to man. He's talking to God. No man understand him. So if you interpret the book of Acts 2 as something that men were understanding, then it is actually contradicting what Paul is saying here. So what is the real event that took place that was recorded in the book of Acts 2? There's an event that is happening in this particular conversation. It is called the Pentecost. Something like Ojudioba that they always have in Ijebu. You see some Ijebu folks, right, that are in diaspora. You see them come, right, to come and celebrate Ojudioba. So Pentecost is like that Ojudioba. You have Jews in different countries. You have Jews that are everywhere. They will come together to come and celebrate the Pentecost. Look at verses 9. You see Parthians there, right? Medes, Elamite, dwellers of Mesopotamia, all of those things there. Look, I highlighted several nations. He spelled out several nations so that he can tell us where the Jews are coming from. Not to tell us about the different language that they spoke on the day of Pentecost. It was not about speaking differently. It's about where you are coming from, which is where? Which is different. Pay attention. When Peter addressed them, he did so by making reference to a word that shows that they were not stranger to the Jewish custom. They were not stranger to the Jewish language. In Acts 2:14, Peter called them, says, "Ye men of Judea," meaning that is their origin. In verse 22, what did he call them? He says, "Ye men of what?" Okay. Now look at verses 29. Men and what? Why did he call them brethren? In fact, the word brethren in the Greek is the word adelphios, which means from the same womb, which means we have the same parental lineage. So we come from the same place. You know, it looks as though conventionally these people said, "We can hear you speak in our language." Are you following what I'm saying? See, Bible interpretation is not that hard. If you have sense, you get what I'm saying. You know, you can have the Holy Spirit and you don't understand what I'm saying. And that's why you have to add sense to that Holy Spirit that you have and be thinking. So, are you thinking at all? These unbelievers that we are talking about, who are they? Who did Peter call them? Men of Judea, men of Israel. Huh? Are they strangers? Can we say they have the common native language? All right. Acts 2 and verse 6. When this was noised abroad, the multitudes were confounded, because every man. Who is that every man? Who are those every man? What are they? Unbelieving Jews. Okay? So, when this was noised abroad, what was noised abroad? They were speaking in tongues. When you just hear every man, you are hearing their language. Wait, did that every man come from nowhere? On the day of Pentecost. Look at verses 5. Read verse 5. 1, 2, ready, go. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews. Jews. He didn't stop there. It says these Jews, not just normal Jews. These are believing Jews. When I say believing Jews, do you understand the believing I'm talking about? Are those that believe in the law of Moses. It does not mean that they are saved though. So, devout men. Out of where? Does it make sense to you now? So it's telling us that these people are not just anyhow people. These people are not just foreigners. These people only came from a foreign country. But they are not foreigners. Now, the reason why you're going to interpret that place by saying every man heard them speak in his own language. Oh, every man heard them speak in their Korea, their China, is because you have cut away verse 5. You don't even understand verse 1. You don't even understand what Pentecost is. And you don't understand that the people that were there, they were not just foreigners. They were Omonile. But another question can rise in your heart. They heard their language. Why can't they be confounded? We are getting there. So let's skip verse 7. Let's go to verse 8. How hear we every man in our own tongue, wherein we were born? How hear we every man? What is the every man? Jews. Right? The unbelieving Jews, right? In a tongue that we were born. Look at Paul. Is Paul a Jew? At a point, did he go to Ephesus? at a point when he was in Asia, did he say, I'm going to go back to go and celebrate? So let us say Paul is an unbelieving Jew that go back to, what's it called? On day of Pentecost, that went back there, and he's part of this people that says, how come I'm hearing these people speak in the tongue I was born? Which tongue do you think he was talking about? Are we together? The Jewish language, right? Is that getting clear? Okay, good. Now look at verse 9. Parthians, Medes, that's where the problem came from. So because sometimes the way we read the Bible is not intelligent. So because it's not intelligent, you see people just assume what the writer is saying, what the writer does not mean. Look at the writing. He said Parthians, Medes, Elamites, and the dwellers. Somebody say dwellers. Dwellers where? When he says dwellers in Mesopotamia, what do you really think he's talking about? People that stayed in that particular place. So meaning that he's making reference to the place they are coming from, not language. That's why he even added the word dwelling there. Don't forget in verse 5, it says, and there were dwelling at Jerusalem, devout what? Comma out of where? So he's telling us that it is not only in Israel that we have devout men. We also have devout men out of where? And this devout men out of every other nation. Why do you think he called them devout men? Because they believe in the gospel of the Jews. Because they believe in the custom of the Jews. They believe in the law of Moses. They believe in offering animals for sacrifice for sin. In fact, that's why they came down for Pentecost, to come and celebrate Pentecost. Because in the law of Moses, they were mandated to celebrate what? Pentecost. That's in verse 12. It says, they were all what? They were all amazed and were in doubt. They were amazed, they were in doubt, saying one to another, what means this? They were in doubt. What were they in doubt of? That's the question. See, the reason why you have issues is because they have issues too. So everybody have issues. So what is the doubt? Verse 7. We skipped verse 7. It was intentional. Look at verse 7. Are you there? Carry it together. 1, 2, ready, go. And they were all, hello. They were all amazed. Why? Read it. I'm having say one another. Behold, are not all these which speak Galilean? So that is the main issue there. So when the Bible says they were confused, they had issues here. What was confusing them? Are these not Galileans? So what is it about Galileans? So when you understand, so somebody that does not understand what is it about Galileans, we don't even understand Acts 2 at all. So when you understand what is it about Galileans, then you understand why they asked that question. Then you understand the main issue in Act 2. Then you understand where the issue is coming from, where you solve it. Then you understand that the Bible is not contradicting each other. Note these things. Jesus is from the origin of Judah, which makes him to be a Jew by origin. But you see, Jesus was called Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Jesus was called Jesus Christ. And in Matthew chapter 2, verse 22 to 23, the Bible highlighted the fact that when his parents left Egypt, when he was still young, they took him deliberately to Nazareth. Nazareth is a small town in Galilee. Is Jesus a Jew? But did he grow as a Jew? How did he grow? As a Nazarene. Can we say that now? As a Galilean. So majority of his ministry was done in Galilee, together with his disciples. So here, Philip find Nathanael and told Nathanael, we found the Messiah. Say, where did you find him? We found him in Nazareth in Galilee. Verse 46. Can we read together? 1, 2, ready, go. And Nathanael said unto him, can any good thing? Where is Nazareth? Nazareth is in Galilee. So he's saying, can any good thing come out of Galilee? Something like that. Because we're not expecting any good things to come out of Galilee. Do you know why? Because the history of Galilee and in relative to the character of the Jews, the way they perceive that particular place is a very bad one. How was it bad? Right from the days of King Solomon. You see a foreign king here gifting Solomon with gold, silver, all of those things, and Solomon wanted to return the gratitude. He gave him a land in Israel, and that land he gave him 20 cities in Galilee. This became the first time we have foreigners entering into Galilee. Are you following what I'm saying now? So these are now become the settlement of foreigners in the land of Israel. So an average Jew will have issues with Galilee. It will be seen as the place for where the enemy dwells, because that is a place where they choose to live and to do ministry. Their lifestyle have been Galileanized. Let's see Mark 14 and verses 17. And he denied it again. And a little after, they that stood by said again to Peter, surely you are one of them. Why? For thou art a Galilean. Thy speech is Peter language, the Jewish language, but his Jewish tongue has been Galileanized. So whenever somebody like Peter is talking, we don't expect any good thing to come out from him. Can any good thing come out of Nazareth? The answer is no. We are not expecting any good thing to come out of Nazareth. We are not expecting it. So whenever we begin to see good things come out of Nazareth, you see an average, you say, why? There will always be questions. You know, just for example now, just imagine in the days of when Peter went to the house of Cornelius. You know, Cornelius is a Gentile, you know, and when they got saved, they got filled in tongues. Was there question in the church? Say, why? We thought that speaking in tongues is for only, now, we thought that speaking in tongues is for only Jews. Why will you now go to the midst of Gentiles and get them filled in tongues? It was a question. In fact, even Peter himself was amazed when it happened. Acts 2:14. But Peter, standing up with 11, lifted up his voice and said unto them, ye men of Judea, and all ye that dwell in Jerusalem, be this known unto you, and hearken to my words. For these were not drunken men, as you suppose it is, but the third hour of the day. Verse 16. But this is that which was spoken of the prophet Joel. Verse 17, can we read together? 1, 2, go. And it shall come to pass in the last days, saith the Lord, I will pour out of my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall stop. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. He didn't say speak in tongues. Your sons and your daughters are going to prophesy. They were mean that what they were doing there was that they were prophesying. But what did Luke say they did? Say we spoke in tongues. What did the unbelieving Jews say they heard? We hear your tongues. So when they said, okay, explain yourself, Peter said we are prophesying. Tongue, we hear your tongue, we are prophesying. How does it link up to one another?